Hey everybody, what is going on? Robert French here, aka Red 5 French, coming to you today with a little PlayStation 4 action, doing some Fortnite, and just want to hang out and talk about some video games and what it's been like for me growing up with video games, and my childhood, my adulthood, and just everything in general. Currently, we are landing on what I like to call Rob's Hill. Actually, I should call this Rob's Hill too, because this is actually like the second chapter, and the hill from the first map was actually Rob's Hill, so I guess this would be Rob's Hill 2. We'll see if I can keep... Oh. We'll see if I can keep the name alive. Rob's Hill here. Rob's Hill 2, I should say. Oh, they got some rockets going on. Oh yeah, let's see. Stand still, stand still. Come back out. Oh yeah. There we go. Boom. And as I was saying, this is known as Rob's Hill. Oh, why am I? It's not gonna let me dance on these guys. Oh, that's BS. Man. Oh well. Anyway. So yeah, I'm 40. I just turned 40 recently, actually. Just this month. And I've been playing video games for about 30 years now. Started when I was probably about 7 or 8, I guess. With Nintendo. My dad had an Atari. It was one of those things I wasn't really allowed to play it, though, unless, you know, he was around. Him and his friends would hang out. Basically do the same things that, you know, my friends and I like to do. Drink some beers and play some video games every now and again. And he would let us play the Atari when they would hang out and play Atari, but I wasn't allowed to touch it unless, like I said, you know, my dad was around. So Nintendo was really the first system that I had growing up where I was able to play it whenever I wanted to, for the most part. You know, we had one TV really in the house, so when Mom wanted to watch her shows or whatever, you know, we had to cut the thing off, and there was no save. Sometimes you had passwords, but there's nothing worse than spending the whole day trying to beat a game, and then your mom wants to watch one of her shows, and you have to, you know, cut everything off. I'm kind of liking this lineup a little bit here. This is pretty nice. I might switch out this assault, though, or this burst for something else. Yeah, let's do this guy. Here we go. What else we got? Bandies. Let me see. I don't think I checked this guy over here. Let's see what we got over here. Oh no. And we were Nintendo kids growing up. My cousins and I, we all played. My sister played Nintendo. My cousin Lauren had Nintendo. My cousin Andy. Him and I were very close in age, and so we would play a lot of Nintendo together, late nights trying to, you know, knock out games like Rampage, Snake, Rattle, and Roll, just different things like that. He always, my cousin Andy always had the coolest new, like, controllers are kind of set up. I remember you had like the power pad, the power glove. If there was any kind of device or anything you could use, and Nintendo, you know, say what you will about PlayStation and Xbox and um, Nintendo's for kids or whatever. I, Nintendo always, I feel like, pushed the envelope as far as video games were concerned, though. Oh God, I really want this blue tack. Get rid of the grenades. So, growing up, we were always playing Nintendo, always playing video games. Like I said, the girls did, the guys did. I was really fortunate to have an older cousin, Andy, who's only about 2 years or so older than I am. So, I would go to him kind of like he would help me play games. Like, I was, maybe 9 or 10, and he was a little bit older, and he was, show me like how to. He was almost like a pre-YouTube in a sense. Like, you kind of look up stuff on YouTube now, like how do you beat this guy and how do you beat that guy. Like back then, I would just hand the controller to my cousin Andy, and he was kind of a savant when it came to video games. He was a little bit older, and he would just kind of show me like what I needed to do and how I beat it and how to knock out the main boss and whatever. Shoot. It's alright, I got some bandies. I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Maybe I can catch up to this guy here later on. Oh, he's way out there. But yeah, my cousin Andy and I, we would stay the night at each other's house. We always got excited when we got new video games. It was kind of like if he got something, then it meant I pretty much got it too, because I could play it whenever. And I recall for a while, like he was the cooler older cousin, and then at some point my dad got my sister and I a SEGA Genesis, and I remember he got super jealous, and I kind of felt like at that point like I was the cool cousin, perhaps, in a sense. And that used to make me really excited, because he would get excited about coming over to my house and playing games. Like I would get excited about going to his place when I was younger, trying out the power pad, or trying out the power glove, or trying out the brand new Nintendo game. And then at some point when I was about 12 or so, then it kind of flipped a little bit, and he was excited to come over to our house and play like Sonic the Hedgehog and stuff that he couldn't play. He couldn't play at his house, so that was always a lot of fun. I remember one birthday I got a game for the Sega called Green Dog. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Green Dog. If you have, please comment down below, because that is a Genesis gem right there. But he was like so excited for this game, Green Dog, and I think I had other presents to open at this point, and he's just like, dude, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, we gotta go play this game, we gotta go play this game. And he loved it. Like it was a fun game. It was basically just your side scroller, not much backstory. You're a surfer dude with a cool skateboard and a frisbee, and some asshole has, kidnapped your girlfriend, and you got to go rescue her. It's a very, very Mario video game kind of story. I need to put on some bandies real quick and get to rolling. But yeah, I still remember that night. Like he used to want to come over and play that game and hang out, and he liked Green Dog a lot for whatever reason. It was a goofy game, but he liked that one a lot. Rampage was another favorite of ours. That was one of those just like 2-player button smashers, but we would stay up all night trying to, I guess, like what you would go across with Rampage, like different cities in America, and like I think we would just try and conquer like every city. I don't know if we ever did. I don't think we ever conquered every city that should I do it? I'm gonna do it. Put on the med kit, get some full health. Jeez. So let me get that guy out of here. But yeah, we used to stay the night at each other's house and try to beat that game. Stay up all night. He would bring it over if he stayed the night at my house. You know, he would just, you know, eat pizza. My mom worked at an Italian restaurant across the street, so, you know, pizza, Coca-Cola, just hanging out all night. You know, killing each other with our farts the whole next day. Just classic teenage, preteen angst. And, you know, like I said, trying to beat this Rampage game. And I actually, there was one year, it was around my birthday, he was staying the night, just, you know, to celebrate. And my dad went to go pick him up. And, you know, he comes in and he's like, I'm so sorry, I forgot Rampage. And I'm like, what? Like, you're kidding me. Like, you know, I didn't want you to come over. I just wanted you to bring your Rampage video game. Like, what are we going to do now? But I think it was his mom and dad had gotten me my own copy for my birthday. So then he pulls out my very own copy of Rampage, and we proceeded to play that all night long, which was super duper super awesome. There was a few others that come to mind. Another was Snake, Rattle, and Roll. These were back when, you know, video games had to be clever and not just running around, you know, shooting people. Even the stolen formula of the boyfriend trying to find his kidnapped girlfriend, like with Green Dog, and, you know, like saying, kind of being a ripoff of what Mario is. It was still clever in its own right, and, you know, video games had to have that. You know, it could just be a shooter. You know, Fortnite's kind of got a clever edge to it. And actually, Fortnite reminds me a lot of like what it means to have like a button smasher, because even though there is like a formula to it, and there is like, you know, this there's a precision and a skill to playing Fortnite. There's also a lot of randomness and button smashing and building and just like, you know, combos. I feel in a sense, kind of like what Street Fighter is. And Street Fighter is a button smasher. You know, you're just pounding buttons. You know, trying to get the best win and to get the best moves off. And, you know, Fortnite's the same way. It's a lot of button smashing and just trying to get that best shot and those best builds. Where's this guy? Dang! Could not get that. I hate a builder. Just fight me, bro. But yeah, there's, like I said, there's I feel like a certain kind of like button smashing formula to Fortnite. So, but yeah, you know, we used to play these games, you know, that were just kind of like these crazy zany games with weird characters and just like strange ideas. And like, I mean, like Snake, Rattle, and Roll, I think was just about like being a snakehead and trying to make the longest tail by eating stuff throughout the board. It was like just, excuse me, a weird, quirky kind of a game. But we used to love it. We used to stay up all night playing that thing, man. Battletoads. That was another fun game. And that was another strange idea too, you know, a game about like mutant toads. I think it came off the tails of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff like that. So, I think I remember like that was even like their ad. It was like, you know, forget the Ninja Turtles. We were like, we're the next mutation. And, you know, they were the next cool thing. Let's see. Let's be dangerous. There's always a lot of people here, but whatever. But yeah, it was, like I said, that was always really a lot of fun. I do remember that growing up, like I said, having an older cousin to show me, like, you know, the ins and outs of gaming. And, my sister and I, we played video games, but I think there's something just different about two guys hanging out playing video games all night as opposed to, I mean, like my sister and I, you know, don't get me wrong, I cannot express how many hours and hours and hours of like Nintendo and Super Mario Brothers we spent together as kids playing, but there was something different about dude, come on. Really? Come on. Just something different about two guys hanging out playing video games, you know? A lot going on right here. Oh no. Oh shoot, ran out of ammo. Ain't that a son of a gun? That was just way too much going on right there. Come on, come on, kill that guy. There we go, yep. Too short. There you go. Throw your tack over there. What else can you throw over there? Throw your gun. Yeah, then I think after the Sega Genesis, the next evolution, of course, was the Sega CD. And that, like, yeah, that blew my cousin away, too. My cousin Andy really liked the Sega CD a lot. He, I think he wanted to stop talking to me after I got that. Like, that really, he was like, no freaking way. Which, looking back at it, I mean, that game, God, I mean, or that game system was just freaking beyond revolutionary. Like, that was just, that thing was epic. Sega CD. Sega CD also came into around the same time where I started discovering girls. So, like, I guess my cousin Andy and my friend Anthony became less of like wingmen for playing video games, and I was starting to play video games with my girlfriends and stuff at that time. Which, believe it or not, it kind of actually worked being a young kid. Like, hey, you want to come over and play some SEGA Genesis and stuff like that? And like, it would actually work. It wasn't a bad pickup line. Just I got a lot of information about girls from my cousin Andy too, so I'm sure in a sense, even though we weren't, what is this dork down here doing? Even though we weren't still hanging out and gaming as much, it was kind of like he had kind of passed on this torch. He had taught me everything he could about girls, everything he could about gaming, and that was up to me to take it to the next level and use everything I had learned from him to use SEGA Genesis to get a date. And it did work pretty well. So thank you, Andy. Appreciate it. Appreciate you helping me level up and what to say to women. It's raining, just all kind of stuff. What else can I get here? Ooh. Any shields? No. More bullets. Some more wood. Crap. Alright, now there was a dude. Unless he just like backed out of the game. It looked like he just fell like over here. And then just disappeared. Maybe he did just like back out of the game or something. I don't know. That's weird. So bizarre. So very, very bizarre. Well, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. You know, I just wanted, like I said, just kind of again, talk about my cousin a little bit, talk about video games growing up, playing Nintendo. Like I said, like, you know, all my cousins and I, like, when Game Boy came out, man, like, you know, that's all we would do. We played Game Boy. That year when that Game Boy came out, that Christmas, we all got one. My sister, my cousin Lauren, my cousin Chrissy, my cousin Andy, and we just, you know, we would just sit around and just play that thing. Like, it was like the quietest Christmas in the history of Christmases, you know, and it was amazing. I remember my Uncle Mel saying something like, oh my god, like, I don't think it's ever been this quiet before. And we're all just like, you know, linked up and everything, just playing our little games and stuff. So, you know, video games are very, very popular today. I think most people would say even more popular. I'm just fortunate that, you know, some people like really still play video games. I consider myself fortunate that I'm still able to play video games and still able to enjoy them and you know, still play games with my cousins and still, you know, do the things I did, you know, when I was younger. I feel very, very fortunate to be able to do that. Oh no. Fuck it, let's go out together, buddy. Boom! And that's how you do it. Alright, guys, I'm going to leave on that note. Like I said, thanks for listening. Don't forget to comment below and, you know, subscribe, share, all that jazz. And if you get a chance, check me out on Twitter as well at RFA the Third. That's RFA the Third, 3RD. And until next time, ready up.